Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm gamesplaining The Legendary War. The Legendary War is a new game released on Kickstarter, I think next month, November. It's by Nirvana Games. As you can see from the art, it looks like it's using the Indian or Hindu legend or legends. I was playing last night next to a guy from with an Indian origin, and he looked over and saw the title and gone, "Oh, is that this story?" So it was really cool that he kind of recognised that. This is a deck building game. If you have played deck building games before, you probably already know how to play this. It's almost identical to many other games. It's not the same, it's not identical, but in terms of understanding the basic rules and how the mechanisms work, really recognisable stuff. So you get an identical deck of cards, you deal yourself 5, you play those cards using them to either purchase other cards to make your deck stronger, and to attack the other players. And then that all goes to the discard pile, do yourself another 5. When you run out of cards over in your draw pile, take the discard pile, shuffle it up, and you're ready to go again. Dominion, Clank, Harry Potter, Hogwarts Battle, all of them use this same mechanism. I really like Clank, I really like Harry Potter. Dominion, bit bored with it. This one, it's okay. I'm not the biggest fan of deck builders just generally. It needs something a little bit more to really drag me in. So with something like Clank, it's that push your luck idea. With Harry Potter, I actually really like the IP. I like that my wife likes playing it, and it's the co-opiness that I quite enjoy with it. So with this one, it's another deck builder. It's got a couple of differences, which I'll go into a few unique characteristics that I'll go into. But if you don't like deck builders, you're probably not going to like this. If you do love deck builders, this one might be okay. One of the guys I was playing with last night said it feels really similar to Heroes Realm. I haven't played Heroes Realm, so I can't comment on that. But that's kind of where it sits within mechanisms of other games against this one. This game is for 2, 4, or 6 players. It needs an even number of players because you're playing in teams. There are only 2 teams. So you either win as a team or you lose as a team. The winning team is the team with at least one member still alive at the end of the game. So in order to win, you need to kill off everyone on the other side of the table. If you're in a 2-player game, obviously it's really easy. If you're in a 4-player game, you're going to select characters from the same deck. So it's 2 different decks to choose from. One deck lives on either side of the table. If obviously 6-player, then everyone on each side will take the same deck and take a character from that deck. The characters all have their own abilities, and there's a unique ability that comes in the card. So when you pick up a card, when you purchase a card from the draw pile that's out on the table, there's a unique ability that you can get by purchasing it. That might be grabbing another card into your hand. It might be, this gives you another gold or another money to spend. Or it might be it gives you an extra attack on top of what your attack value is already. It's a fairly attacky game. The only way to win the game is to attack the other players. You have to attack, which is okay, I don't mind that. But there's also a couple of cards that, when they come through, you randomly take one of the cards out of their deck. So they're only playing with 4 cards when they come around. That type of thing I'm not such a huge fan of. In terms of uniqueness, this is the first game using the Hindu origins or the Hindu tales and legend and things like that. I really like that there's something from that culture, because I haven't seen a game with that cultural basis before. And I like that gaming is kind of starting to get off into other cultures. It's not just seen as this, not necessarily just a Western thing. Sure, we can put a lot of our roots into the German experience of gaming, but then we've got this American experience that comes in. I like that there's an Indian experience in there as well. There's a couple of other elements in this game that I really like as unique mechanisms within the deck building genre. One of them that I really like is this thing called fate tokens. Every player starts with 3 fate tokens. And what they allow you to do is, if you've got a hand of cards, 5 cards, you have to have 5 in your hand to use them. So if someone's been able to steal one of your cards by one of theirs, you're not going to be able to use it. But if you've got the 5 in your hand and you don't like them, they're unusable. Instead of just going, I can't do anything with this, your turn, what you can do is flip one of your fate tokens over, discard the 5 in your hand, and deal yourself a fresh 5 cards. That enables you to be able to play, even when it looks like you probably can't, or in other games you wouldn't be able to. I haven't come across that mechanism anywhere. I really like it. I think it's a good mechanism. Once you've used up all 3 of your fate tokens, and when I've played it, I haven't actually got to the point where I've needed to do this next maneuver, but you are able to miss your turn, not do anything on a turn, just in order to turn all 3 of those fate tokens back over so you can use them again. I find they're really valuable at the beginning of the game. As you get further into your deck and your deck gets stronger, you'll find that you probably won't need it as much, because every time you bring it out, you're probably going to be able to do something with it. That negates, that little mechanism, it negates the problem of that we find in a lot of deck builders where, I really can't do anything with this. Dominion's probably the biggest problem one with this one, where you'll pull up a hand of just point cards and you can't do anything with it. It's just like, I got a whole bunch of points moved through my deck. Great. In this, you'd be able to do something with. The things in this game that I find a little bit unbalanced or not great, they're actually flaws that a lot of early designers fall into. So, attacking each other, that's fine. You attack, you add up your numbers, you've got to have an infantry, and you've got to have at least one infantry, at least one weapon. Add all those numbers together, whatever that number is, that's your attack value. If that attack value is higher than the person you're attacking, great, you take one of their wounds. Awesome, really good. That's a good mechanism, that works fine. If it's even, however, so if I have 5 attack value, the opponent that I'm trying to attack has a 5 strength, I now have to do one of the things I really dislike doing in games. Rolling dice. You roll a die, the opponent rolls a die, whoever has the highest wins. I understand thematically that if you've got even forces, it could go either way. In gaming, in modern gaming, the use of dice doesn't sit well with me. I dislike that. The other mechanisms around the attack is absolutely fine. It's just the way that we work that out doesn't sit right with me. I think there are other ways to do it that don't just leave it up to chance. Let's face it, there's enough chance in a deck building game already. Yes, you can manipulate what's going into your deck, but you're still up to chance to which ones you draw on the other side. I don't know, there's cards in there that seem like they are of 0 value. So there's a card that when it comes through your deck, it allows you to draw another card into your deck, so you're looking at 6 cards. But one of those 6 cards is the card that you use to draw another card. If that card you use to draw another card, of course it doesn't do anything else, if that card wasn't there, you would have had that card anyway and still had the exactly same strength deck. It seems like that's a non-useful card. There's a couple of cards that feel like they're a little bit overweighted. If you think about it, that's the amount of time it takes you to be able to purchase those cards, and then how many cards you have in your deck for them to cycle through. That kind of balances them a little bit, but they feel a little bit overweighted. Some of them are fairly super strength, so one of the cards you're able to draw 3 more cards. That's huge if you can get that guy into your deck. One of them allows you to have a +5 on the attacks. Once again, huge, huge, huge. When the opponents generally have either 4 or 5, possibly a 6 as their strength, that's kind of the strength ranges. Having 5 attack in one card is huge. On the attacks, I do like. With the attacks, if they've got strength 4 and you've got like a strength 10, you can take 2 hit points off that person. Or you could go up against the strength 4 and their strength 6 with a 10 and roll for both of them. That's kind of cool. I like that. But back to these cards, there are cards that, one of them, when it comes through your deck, all it does is you remove 1 random card from your opponent's deck and it goes to their discard pile. So suddenly they're playing with 4 cards instead of 5. I don't like that. It's too attacky. I know this is an attacking game, but that's not my style of play. There are some of you out there that will love that style of play and really like just sticking it to your opponents, and that's fine for you. I'm not that type of player. I like to play the game to play the game. I don't like to play the game to ruin another person's time of playing the game, because when you've got 4 cards in your hand, you're not going to be able to do a whole bunch. Depending which one gets taken out, that might actually cripple your turn. When you've only got 5, So look, that's part of gaming. It's one of those things you go, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. I'm not a huge fan of that. But look, there's a whole bunch of elements that are really good in there. There's a couple of elements in there that feel a little weak to me. They've got a 8-sided die to keep track of the hit points, which is great, but on each character card they've also got listed the 8 down to 1. That we could just track. So you watch the videos and you'll notice that I actually just use the die sitting on top of that, but also showing on the die. It feels, to me personally, it feels like there's an extra element there that doesn't need to be there, which is probably pushing up the cost of the game. It could be done a little bit easier, but there's decisions that people make, and that's fine. If you value having a D8 there, then that's cool. I just think it's double down on the same element, and it's unnecessary. It says that it takes 45 to 90 minutes to play. And a 2-player game, 45 minutes is fairly accurate. On my 4-player game that I had the other night, it felt like it started dragging a little bit. Just the flow of the game, should I say, it feels fairly slow to build up, as most deck builders do, while you're building up your engine to be able to start attacking and doing the things that are going to win you the game. Once you start attacking, it feels like it does a really quick, rapid movement of you're going from 8 hit points down to 4 or even 3 really super fast, which feels like it's going to finish the game really quickly. There's some cards there that allow you to actually prolong that by purchasing them. They'll add to your health points by 1 each time you purchase one. I don't know if there's a heap of value in those cards when you're playing a 4 or 6-player game, because you use 4 money to get one health point back. By the time it gets back around to you, you've probably been hit another 3, if not 6 times, because it's possible to hit someone twice in the same turn. Yeah, I don't know how much value there is in those cards. In a 2-player game, however, I was finding they were really helpful, because I get hit a heap, but then I'd be able to chain stuff, so I actually had a whole bunch of money, be able to purchase 3 of them, and push up my health by 3 at a hit, and suddenly there's value in that. So you may find you play games where you never touch that. You may find you're playing games where someone's using that, but just prolonging their life without really being able to actually attack you at the same time. So I feel like when that's happening, the game just drags a little bit at the end. But if you run through fairly quickly, it's okay. But that's just for me, because as I said previously, not the hugest fan of deck builders. So when I hit that point, it just feels a little draggy. But look, I mean, I've said some negatives on this one. There are some definite positives on this game. I want you to make up your own minds. So please go on, watch the Gamesplay and Gamesplanations to get a feel for the game and how it runs. This will be on Kickstarter, I think, in November. Once it goes live, I'll put the link at the end of the videos, so you can just click straight through if that's what you wish to do. And check it out. See what you think of it. I like to encourage and champion Australian designers and getting new games coming from Australia, because I don't see that much. If you're in America, please don't see the Australian dollars thing as a negative on Kickstarter. Just get into it, because there are some really good games there, and it's worth having a look at. This will sit up with other Kickstarters that I've reviewed and have come through. So it's not a bad game at all. It plays nicely. Really similar to other games, but, you know, it plays nicely. So, if you've got any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you've got any games that you wish to be Gamesplained, please shoot me an email at thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at thegamesplainer to see what games I've been playing. Check out my blog, thegamesplainer.wordpress.com, to read about my adventures in gaming each week. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.